You're the owner of a small business, which means you're also the tech guy, and HR, and personal assistant, and head honcho, and intern. You could use another pair of hands, like the experts you'll find at Verizon Small Business Days, April 21st through 27th. Get a free tech check, special deals, and more. Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness to book your appointment. Verizon Business.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Money is the fuel. It's the stuff that keeps life moving. It pays the bills. It provides comfort and security. It gives you the stuff you need to live. You can't get by without it. We're not an agrarian society anymore, or a hunter-gatherer society out, killing what we eat. We have to take care of it with money. And that's why we're here.
Money also allows people to show how others, how rich they are, how much money they have.
Sure. Yes, it does. Just ask Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, well, is he extravagant?
No, but he has a lot of money.
He has a lot of, he has like 100.
A lot of money.
Well, how many people get richer after a divorce where they gave away like 50 billion? But anyway, we'll talk more about the meaning of money. It's a complicated topic, always a complicated topic.
Yeah, it is. It's fascinating, and it's fascinating the way we react to it. 855-935-TALK is our number, and that's why we're here, to help you react to it better and to deal with it better and to invest it properly and build the wealth you need to enjoy a lovely long-term future. 855-935-TALK. That is our phone number. And we just have a ton of people on the line dying to make Tom feel better. So we're just going to go to calls right now because people have been waiting around. David, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, David.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, we sure can. Thank you.
So my grandfather, my mom's dad, had some great advice. He said to diversify. And because my dad had been investing his money in the bank that he worked at. So here's kind of a lark. I don't know if you're aware of Gilder. What's his first name? Anyway, he's big on cryptocurrency. So, and I've heard do not make it an investment, but it would be a savings plan, because his thing is identity theft. He just thinks identity theft's gone crazy. So the blockchain thing is a thing. So I didn't know if you guys have just a blanket answer for that, or if you'd give me any tips. My son took $1,000.
You're talking about George Gilder, right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. The prophet that predicted smartphones and the end of TV.
I'm gonna let Don spend more time on this, but I wouldn't put one thin Gilder into that strategy.
Oh, sorry. I knew a bad pun was coming.
Too easy.
Oh, my goodness gracious sakes alive. Yes, I know George Gilder is a futurist and an investor, but I see no reason, none whatsoever, for any type of cryptocurrency to be a cryptocurrency and have any potential to make you money. You see, this is the problem. What is the dollar in your wallet? What's the one thing you can say about the dollar in your wallet from day to day?
It's worth $1.
Stable. It's worth $1.
Yeah.
You can go buy $1 worth of stuff that you could have bought yesterday today. Now, a year from now, it may be $1.10 it takes to buy the same thing if we have huge inflation. But cryptocurrencies don't work that way right now, which means they'll never work as a currency, because you don't want to know. I mean, you do want to know from one day to the next what your currency is worth. Do you know that with Bitcoin?
No, I don't think
it's not. It's not going to be a currency right now.
I mean, the currency of the United States, is backed by that rather large institution called the United States. Cryptocurrency is it's air. It's a speculation. It's whatever the next guy thinks it's worth. That doesn't make me comfortable. I'll put it that way.
It's a solution without a problem.
Okay.
I mean, really think about it. What is Bitcoin used for other than speculation today? What is the number one use of cryptocurrencies in the world today?
I don't know.
Crime.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
crime.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
People don't want to be on the radar of governments.
It's untraceable, so it's used for crime.
Okay.
It's
not
a
something I
terrible
want to invest
investment.
You see it?
Yeah.
No.
No.
We would not do that. No.
All right. Perfect. Yeah, you did have a blanket response. I assumed you would. So great.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
We're just full of blankets.
I would take a flyer on Kodak before I put a dime into cryptocurrency. Or pardon me, before I put a guilder into cryptocurrency.
We're accused of being old and stodgy, but I got to tell you, this is a passing fancy. This is a trend.
We're from the old school they built before building.
I do believe that the blockchain has value as a way to account for things, but the currencies right now, it's just the Wild West.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
You've heard that about 99% of all financial advisors are not always required to act in your best interest. You've probably been pitched financial products by all manner of friends and relatives, and the investing you have done is probably a hodgepodge of ill-fitting pieces that are doing little to provide the financial security you need. If you're looking for a 100% pure fiduciary, and we'll put that in writing, low-cost, fee-only advisor who always puts you first, give Vestory a call at 800-386-3004. That's 800-386-3004, or visit us online at Vestory, VESTORY.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
855-935-TALK. That is our phone number, 855-935-8255. Another thing with cryptocurrencies, if you wanted to steal $5 million, it would be very difficult for you to steal that much money in one fell swoop. Really hard. I mean, there's not even a bank anywhere that has $5 million sitting in the vault. It's hard to steal $5 million. And yet, 3 days ago, $5 million worth of Ethereum was stolen in one hack like that.
It seems like that. You hear about that quite a bit.
Oh, there was another. Well, there was one on August 1st, another one on August 5th. You know, this is the craziest stuff. And you see those pictures of Bitcoins and things. There's no such thing. Those are made up pictures. There's no coin.
There is no thing you hold in your hands.
Give us a call, 855-935-TALK. I'm Don McDonald. That's Tom Cock. And Pat is on the line. Hi, Pat. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing well.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. My question is along the lines of, listened to you guys for a while, and I really appreciate your show. My question is along the lines, and I hear you guys talk often about investing in index funds. And I've done most of my investing in index funds. The question I have is in regard to, why do we want to weigh our portfolio so heavy with stocks when I watch these index funds recover from a lot of major catastrophes much quicker than they ever have, let's say, back in the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s?
I'm trying to make sure I'm understanding.
I'm not understanding the question. That would be a reason for overweighting stocks.
Why would I weigh my The question is, why would I weigh my portfolio so heavy with bonds?
Oh, bonds!
If the index funds recover so quick.
It's the bond conversation. You've had this before, Tom.
Yeah, so let me just go ahead and tell you right now. I'll put it out there. If you have it all in stocks, you're going to make more money over time. No question. The only reason to own bonds is for stability of the portfolio. If you say, I don't care if I wake up one day and my $1 million portfolio is worth $500,000 because I know it's always gone back up, then put it all in stocks.
There you go.
Okay, the only reason answered my question.
The only reason we suggest people have bonds is to compensate for the fear factor, to keep people invested. Because if you have, we used to teach all kinds of live classes, and at every class we would ask the question, how many of you are comfortable with $1 million? I have $1 million sitting in front of me. You have $1 million sitting in front of you. How many of you are comfortable if I walk away with $500,000 and I don't know when I'm going to return it? And one hand at most out of a group of 100 would go up.
I'm gonna say that almost none. I think out of the 1,500 client households we have, I think there's 2 that are all stock because they cannot take the volatility.
So it's psychological, really, more than financial.
Yeah. You're right. You'd make more money just being all in. There's famous money managers who have it all in stocks.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
All right. I think that's
Thanks
helpful.
for the call.
I think it's like you guys said, it's more what your risk factor is.
Yep. As a matter of fact, if you really, if you want to look back at history, go back over the past 100 years and look at the asset class that would have made you the most money over that 100 years, it's small cap value stocks. They made 10 times what the blue chip stocks made. But they also had periods where your million would have dropped to 200,000.
Yeah, very, very dramatically. By the way, speaking of bonds this year, and thank you for your call, Pat. Bonds, the bond fund that it makes up, I think, half of the bond fund money that we manage on the retirement asset side, retirement account side. It's up over 10%. So there are times when bonds, and for the life of me, you go ahead and tell me why. I'd love DFIGX. You can look it up yourself. And interest rates are what?
Well, now wait.
Anyway.
A big part of the reason is that interest rates have done exactly the opposite of what every pundit has been saying for the past decade. For the past 10 years, everybody, all the experts have been saying interest rates must go up. Well, they will be right someday. They will go up someday. It wasn't this year. They've been going down.
No.
I'm feeling bad. I just refinanced a mortgage at 2.75%. I thought I can't do any better than that. And then I hear this morning, 2.4 is the new rate.
On a 15, the average now is 2.4, and on a 30, 2.8. So you're still got pretty cheap money there. So the point, and by the way, it's 1 out of 4 years the market goes down and bonds will make you more money. That's what it traditionally has been. If you get all in stocks today and then the market retreats 30, 40, 50%, are you going to be okay?
Not most.
A lot of people say that. Not a problem.
It was funny. And just another aside, we found that during March, when the market was falling, that risk quiz scores, I went back and looked at them, that they were across the board lower than they had been for the previous year. Because
see how you felt
when it was down in March, you didn't feel like taking much risk.
See how you take the quiz in 2007 or take the quiz in 2000 before some pretty big market declines, and then take it during the decline.
I'm just looking.
Try that again.
Where's your time machine?
Exactly.
Let's see it.
Hook it up.
855-935-TALK. That's our number. Brad, you're next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Well, I think you kind of answered one of my. Hi. Good afternoon.
Hey.
I had a question about refinancing a mortgage. I have a 30-year mortgage. It's 28 years right now, so I refinanced it a couple of years ago, and it's at 3.5. So it sounds to me like, from what you were saying, it might be a good idea for me to refinance.
Maybe we're in that middle ground where closing costs, you've got to be very, very careful with closing costs, with all the fees associated with refinancing, because if you went to a 15, that 1.1% difference is probably enough to make a difference, but your payment is going to rise because you're dealing with a shorter mortgage. But if you could shop around, and I got to tell you, this is not a plug for Costco, but I went through Costco's mortgage service, and I got a deal where the closing costs were so absolutely incredibly low. It was amazing.
You just go to, if you're a member, you just go to Costco and you on their webpage and you apply, and they've got the people they work with. My rule of thumb generally is a 1% reduction. Do what Don just said because of the costs involved. And number two, Brad, the other thing for you to consider is how long you're going to stay in the home that you're in.
Right. Yeah, you do have to stay long enough for it to be worthwhile.
I don't think I'm going to go anywhere anytime real soon. And I've got more than 50% equity in my house.
Oh, you won't have a problem getting a note. Shop around, see what the rates look like, do the payments, factor in how long it takes you to pay back those closing costs, see if it works for you. Thanks for the call. 855-935-TALK is our number.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're sick of your self-interested financial advisor and are looking for a 100% fiduciary low-fee investment advisor, call my firm Vestory at 800-386-3004 or visit us at vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Howdy, howdy, hi there. I'm Don, that's Tom. This is Talking Real Money. And you have a standing or sitting invitation to give us a call anytime at 855-935-8255, which just happens to spell talk, T-A-L-K, or talk, T-A-W-K. No, it doesn't spell T-A-W-K.
I know what's going to really excite you if you haven't finished your summer reading list yet. I'm being facetious here.
I have a lot of stuff on my reading list.
I am not a fan of the psychology of money. Now, I'll tell you what, there's a new book out.
I like Zweig's book.
Yeah, I love Your Money in Your Brain. Great book. First of all, I read a lot of these when I had the television show because we had a lot of authors on, so I had to read a lot of these books.
Yeah.
Number two, I find it almost impossible to change you, the listener, the client, attitude about money. Literally, I can sit there and say, here's what we're trying to do and here's why, and people go, yeah, that makes sense. Until the market does something, until something comes along in your life. It's like, remember when I told you all that? Yeah, but that doesn't matter today. It's really hard to change people's attitudes about money. They are so built in from whatever.
Well, yeah, it's like the folks who call and go, hey, Tom, been listening to you for a decade and we follow all your advice. We've got 3 different stocks and.
But beyond that, because bigger than that is what you're trying to do. For me, for our clients, really what we're trying to do is to make sure you have money to supply the income you're going to need in retirement. I think that's what most people should be saving and investing for. But if you look at where the world is today, the Robin Hoods and the fractional shares and the I'm going to get rich, that's what it's been all about the last 3 or 4 months, at least publicly, right? I mean, we're still using index like mutual funds, et cetera, et cetera. So this book is out. Jason Zweig recommends it. I just don't know that it works, that we can tell people, here's what you should really believe psychologically about money. I try, and you know this, I drive a 2014 Pilot. I don't live lavishly. Yeah, I probably spent some money last week because I had my whole family there that I normally wouldn't spend, but generally I don't. And for me, I want to make sure that I have enough, or if I leave first, Danielle has enough to take care of us the rest of our lives. If there's something left, great. But otherwise, that's my take on money. But it's not for most people.
No, because for most people, it's a competition.
It is.
It's a competition. And, it's very interesting. Related to this, but unrelated. One of my favorite podcasts and radio shows is This American Life by Ira Glass, which is on public radio stations. And there was an episode today about a young man who went and when he was in 6th grade was in a class where the teacher would give them classroom money. She called them, her name was Jefferson. She called them Jefferson dollars, and they could buy things with them. Now, it turns out that some of the kids, it was middle school. So some of the kids had her for homeroom and math class. Okay. They had her for both. And these kids are walking around the school with big wads of Jefferson bucks, whereas the kids in her math class are feeling jealous because they don't have the wealth. They felt there was wealth equality, and therefore it was unfair. And they did some terrible things to try to solve that wealth equality. They would steal other kids' books and say, you don't get it back unless you give me 5 Jefferson dollars. One kid broke into Mrs. Jefferson's desk and stole some Jefferson dollars.
Wow.
To try to make up for that inequality. So it becomes a competition. to see who can put away the most. And you're right, it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be, how much do we need? And that's why we emphasize the need first. What do you need to live the life you want to lead?
And this gets back to the question that I think Pat had earlier about, well, why put any in bonds? I'll make more money in stocks. To me, while that sounds, if you need the money, that's great. I always tell people, look, you're never going to be the richest person in the world. Jeff Bezos is worth $180 billion. Mm-hmm. Give that up. What you really should be trying to do, as I said, to save and invest enough so that your future and your significant others, and if you want to leave something to others, that's what you should be doing. But I can only tell you that. I can't make you do it. It's really hard.
But that's what we're here trying to do, and we'll keep doing it. So if you have a concern about money, you need to better understand how to make it and live a great life with it, give us a call at 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Did you know I wrote a book? Yeah, about 10 years ago, I wrote a book about investing. Financial Physics, with an F, How Money and Investing Really Work. It's a short read. It's a really easy read because, well, as you know, investing is way too easy to be this complicated. And it's been on sale for a long time at Amazon. I updated it in 2018 to a new version. But if you don't want to buy it, you can go buy it at Amazon. It's $10. But if you don't want to buy it, if you want it free, well, you can get it free two ways. One, you can get a PDF copy by going to talkingrealmoney.com/free. talkingrealmoney.com/free. If you don't put in the /free, you can't find it. The other way is if you have an iDevice, like an iPhone or an iPad or a Mac, you can go get an interactive version of the book, a special edition that I made that's actually interactive, that's got videos and motion and things going on. And that's also free. Just look for Financial Physics, FYSICS, in the Apple Bookstore or Apple Books or whatever they call it now. Or go to talkingrealmoney.com/free, talkingrealmoney.com/free. And I guarantee you'll enjoy the PDF or the iBook or your money back. Check it out, talkingrealmoney.com/free.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
And I would be remiss, I say, if I didn't suggest that if you've missed an episode of Talking Real Money, you can listen to them as a podcast on your favorite podcast service. Plus, we do an extra 2 or 3 a week, depending on the week, unless I take a vacation. Then there won't be the extras every week. So usually there's like 5 podcasts a week. So we take the show and then the other ones. So you can listen to a lot of Talking Real Money on your favorite podcast service or at talkingrealmoney.com.
I know one person, 2 people listen to every podcast we've done.
Wow.
Every single one.
That is devotion.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's a compliment.
Well, and it
didn't say, by the way, they didn't say they liked them. They just said
they must, because in the past few weeks, in the past month or so, the number of people who listen to our podcast has on average doubled.
That's because of the hot stock picks I've been throwing in there after you're done.
No, it's because of the punnery.
Tom's Hot 3.
Tom's punnery.
I'm sure that's the draw.
Get thee to a punnery. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. And John, you're next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
We lost John. We're going to go to Tim.
What? How did you know that? I didn't know that.
I'm pretty smart sometimes.
Gee, Tim, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
How you doing, Don and Rod?
Don and who?
Hello?
What'd you call him? What'd you call that other guy?
Is Don?
Yeah, I'm Don. What's he?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tom. I'm thinking of someone else. Sorry about that, Tom.
No, he gets it all the time.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
He's used to it. Go ahead. What's your question for Ron?
Listen, I have a question that maybe both of you can weigh in on for me.
Okay.
Recently, I've been noticing that the tech stocks have gone pretty much through the roof.
Yep.
But also, gold is at a high at about $2,000. And I was wondering, how could that be? They both travel in sort of opposite directions, don't they? And
they have in the past. Yeah, kind of.
I'd have to go back and look.
I know the charts really well. Pardon?
where would you put your money today? Either both or one or the other, and why?
Never in gold. Ever, 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 ever in gold. Because I don't believe in gambling. And gold is purely speculation. There is no investment value whatsoever to gold.
Gold is a trade, not an investment.
Yep.
That's how I'd put it. Number two, to the tech stocks. We own them, but we don't own the NASDAQ per se. We don't own a mutual fund that just holds tech stocks per se. Yeah, would I felt better just having most of my money in Tesla and Amazon and Microsoft this year? Sure. But again, technology is not always the best place to invest. We hold those stocks, but at a much smaller percentage than, as I say, than owning the NASDAQ, or certainly of owning the FANG stocks. I would not recommend that as an approach.
Yeah, following never gets you anywhere. Following usually gets you in after it's too late. You don't want to be a follower, but you're not going to be a leader either, because to be a leader, you have to know the future, which is impossible to know. So the best strategy, and the only one we've ever found to stand the test of time, is diversify, 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 keep costs low, keep costs low, keep costs low, to steal from Professor William Sharp.
And put it all in Kodak. No,
that was a joke.
Kodak or 3M, right?
Yeah, don't buy those.
Well, did 3M get $765 million from the government?
Wouldn't it be
I don't think so.
diversifying, though? If I got into tech stocks, wouldn't it be sort of...
No.
And by the way, you'd be buying, as Don makes a very good point, you'd be buying after things have gone up dramatically. Wouldn't you rather buy the things that have gone down than buy the things that have gone up? Gold and tech stocks, as you said, have had this huge run up this year. You don't want to buy things after they've run up. You want to buy the ones that are beaten down, unloved, that would be expected to return to price equilibrium. That would be the place to buy.
It's kind of like if you lived in Holland in the 16th century and you could have bought a bunch of, like a few years ago, you could have bought a bunch of tulip bulbs for $0.10 a piece, and now they're selling for $30. You're going to want to buy the $30 tulip bulbs, or are you going to wait until people get a little smarter and start selling them again for $0.25? Of course, it would be in guilders, not
ETF gold fund wouldn't be good, huh?
No, sir, not at all.
Tim, you're killing us.
As a matter of fact, Tim, here's what I want you to do. Ready? Go to talkingrealmoney.com. Listen to Friday's podcast. I did a whole
one yesterday.
Yesterday's podcast. I did a whole dissertation on gold and why gold why it's overvalued right now. This is only the third time since we've been able to own gold in the United States that gold has traded at this high a level, adjusted for inflation.
And for full disclosure, Don and I are both wearing gold right now.
That's it. And it's not even
Mine's
an
in
ounce.
my tooth. His is on his hand.
I'm married, so that's gold. 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
We don't believe in seat-of-your-pants investing. We believe investing should be based on solid science, on academic research. That's why on July 29th, we'll be hosting a brand new class, The New Science of Real Investing, at 8 a.m. via Zoom. Get your tickets right now at talkingrealmoney.com. Just click on the new events button or the events button and reserve your place. Go to talkingrealmoney.com and make sure you're there to learn the science of real investing in our next online Zoom class. Go to talkingrealmoney.com, click on the events button.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
855-935-8255 is our phone number, 855-935-TALK. There's one thing you're going to learn. If you just started listening to our show, we're not big fans of gimmickry. Game playing, the latest hot thing, lying to you. We're really, really opposed to that.
Fads.
Yeah, for some people, lying is a habit, but
no, I'm talking about in general fads, investing fads.
Yeah, fads.
That's like right now the fad would be to go to Robinhood and trade stocks for free,
or just buying tech stocks or gold,
or go to any of those other aforementioned places and buy fractional shares of stocks because you think that's cool too.
But I know a lot of people are reading investment advice things online like Forbes. And I give MarketWatch a hard time all the time for their bad articles. They're just dangerous. But Forbes has the same problem in that they've got a lot of contributors who have some strange agendas. Like this guy.
Are they published anymore? Is there an actual published version?
I don't know if there's a paper version of it at all anymore, but they're online. Okay. And there's a guy here who wrote a report. He writes a thing called Contrarian Outlook, but he wrote a report. Listen to the name of this. Indestructible Income, 5 bargain funds with safe 11% dividends.
So he's talking about a mutual fund that's paying you a safe 11%.
Correct.
Okay, but let's keep in mind, by the way,
yes,
because we mentioned interest rates earlier, that you can borrow 30-year money now at less than 3. Mm-hmm. The U.S. government has decided to pay you interest on
less than
10-year bond at around 1. Mm-hmm. I consider that safe. So what in the world is he talking about?
He's talking about our closed-end funds. These are mutual funds that have a finite amount of money in them, and then they don't let any new people in. So you have to trade them like a stock. And he mentioned in this recent piece one particular fund, and he says he loves it because it has an 11% dividend stream. It's called the Allianz Global Investors Convertible and Income Fund. So let's talk.
Wait a minute. I just want to make clear that I understand who the fund operator is. Allianz. That is an insurance company, correct?
That is correct, sir. But this is their global investing division.
Just checking.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
So this is a closed-end fund.
Yeah.
And it has, I looked it up, it does in fact have a distribution rate right now of about 10.33% distribution.
Here's my money.
Yeah. Now, as he admits, part of that money is return of capital. Some of your original money coming back to you. But he said that's not a bad thing. It's just an accounting thing, which is baloney because all you have to do. Oh, by the way, how much do they charge? How much would you guess John's charges to run a bond fund? It's a convertible bond fund.
1.25.
1.53.
Well, I'm always low.
To run.
By the way, wasn't there's a guy named Madoff who did the same thing? I'm returning you some of your capital. Or somebody else's.
Yeah, that was somebody else's capital. It's a different thing. But here's what's interesting. You see that you got that 10.34. But one thing he does not mention is, so what has that fund, after you account for the reduction, the rise and fall of the share price, how much has the fund actually returned? The dividend is nice, but if your value's going down, which happens with return of principal, what's the average annual return been for this fund? Would you guess?
How far back?
Let's go 15 years. It's been around for a long time.
Wow, 15 years average close rate fund.
Convertible, so it's got a little stocky component to it.
3.5.
Oh, you're way low. I thought 5%. 5% per year. 5% per year. So far this year, it's down 8%. And
I got to say, what does it own?
Convertible bonds.
Okay, but whose?
Oh, all kinds of things. But convertible bonds are like stocks and bonds. So they're dangerous like stocks and they pay interest like bonds. But if you're getting 10% per year and you're losing 5 in value, your net is really only 5%. You can't say you're making 10. And here's what's interesting about it. You'd think because it was a bond fund that it would be more stable. And we measure stability by a thing called standard deviation.
How much something moves up or down from the middle, basically.
And the Standard & Poor's 500, which is all stocks, has a standard deviation of about 16, right?
Yeah.
About 16. So you would think it's a bond fund. It's an income fund.
Should be much lower.
I mean, the Vanguard Total Bond Index Fund has a standard deviation of about 3.5.
I was going to say 4. Okay.
3.5. What is their standard? I'm going to let you guess again. What do you guess their standard deviation is?
12.
Over 15 years. This is just astonishing. 19.
Whoa. Higher than the S&P 500.
Higher than the S&P 500. So it's a scarier fund. It makes you less money. And yet this guy is flogging it because it provides people, and here's where you all are making a big mistake. It provides you the thing you say you want from your money. High income.
A lot of money.
I want a high income. I want a big check. I want a big check every quarter. Well, you get that. But what do you suffer in the process of going for that? High fees, which means they have to take more risk.
Yep.
Return of some of your principal, declining net asset value. Where do you win in this picture?
Yeah, income is such a tricky. I mean, again, we've told this story for many, many years. We do not own bond funds for income per se. Now, the bond funds we use do have income, but that's not why we're holding them for our clients, nor do we recommend it. By the way, the Vanguard Total Bond Fund or the Fidelity Bond Index Fund would not be designed this way. Again, they're designed to hold their value. Correct?
Correct. They are. They're designed to hold their value. And when you look at these bonds, you go, whoo, these are some scary things.
That's what I was wondering. Do they have like Hertz convertible?
They have some companies I don't even know, like Ready Cap Corp. I don't even know what that is. Snap Incorporated. I think, isn't that Tools or something?
Tools. Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fortive. Don't know them. Iconics. I don't know them. Reorganized Holdco Preferred. What does that mean? Reorganized. It means they went through bankruptcy.
Sign me up for those bonds.
I'm telling you, this is really dangerous stuff. And
the danger always is people, as you said, want a one-stop solution. Here's my money. Pay me my whatever blank back a month, and I won't have to worry about it. And that's when they get trapped into products like this. Life is not that simple.
And investing,
for almost anything.
While the concept is simple, the process does have there is some work required. You can't just find the one-size-fits-all answer, and one of the biggest reasons you find yourself in trouble is because you're looking for that.
It's absolutely spot on. So this is not a fund that we would recommend.
No. Nor would I recommend reading this guy's stuff either. I mean, for heaven's sake. Remember, you can call us anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I'll answer questions on the podcast, or you can call us live.
And join us. You mentioned before.
I'll mention the class again right out of the break.
Coming up in a couple
mention
weeks.
The class, and also remember you can send questions in at talkingrealmoney.com. You can either type them or record them. Send them to us. We'll answer them on future podcasts. Thanks so much for listening and being a part of the program. We love that you're out there.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're sick of your self-interested financial advisor and are looking for a 100% fiduciary low-fee investment advisor, call my firm Vestory at 800-386-3004 or visit us at vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
As you head into retirement, you need to start not only planning for some of the legal things you need to know and the money things you need to know in retirement, but what happens after retirement, after you're gone? What happens to your money? How is it passed on to your heirs? That's why we're doing a quick overview of all the steps you need to take to manage your wealth in retirement and beyond in a free class, Retirement and Beyond. You can sign up for it right now. It'll be held on Zoom on the 26th of August. That's a Wednesday at 8 a.m. And that's with Tom and Rick Gregorick. Go to talkingrealmoney.com to sign up.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. You know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.